morning. Hello. Let's make sure you guys can hear me. Okay. I'm kind of just quickly scooching myself into position this morning. Okay. Good morning from Chicago. Hello. Let's make sure. Does the sound good? Can you guys see me okay? Okay. This was so much earlier than I was thinking it was going to be. I don't, when I type in like it's going to be at this time, I don't give it a massive amount of thought. I do try to mix it up just so people have the opportunity to like see it live all over the place. Um, but this one's too early because I've done 10 o'clock ones in California, and 10 o'clock here is too early for me. I haven't fully adjusted to the time change. So, good morning. Good morning from Florida. Hello. It says you're out of focus. That might be, let's see. Sometimes if you refresh, it comes back into focus, but we're going to check that and see if we can't make sure that's just perfect. All right. Hello. That's a huge coffee. Yes, I'm trying to wake up this morning. What time do I wake up? I get up all over the place, but it kind of depends on how late I work the night before. Usually like 8 o'clock, but I haven't fully like hatched until out here later. Like back in California, it seemed like 8 o'clock I could almost hop in a car and go somewhere, but here, not yet. I do also have like a giant ritual that I have to do every single morning with all of these pets is I have to like wake up and like certain ones like a certain kind of breakfast. So I have to like prepare everybody something slightly different. Like Poof won't touch anything that the other cats touch. Um, the captive wants his own thing. Like everybody gets like a special thing in the morning. Good afternoon from London. Oh my gosh. Hello. Let's see. Good morning from Misery, Missouri. Is Missouri a place, like a town? I want to live in a place called Misery. That sounds amazing. Okay, so let's see. When was the last time we did the live stream for the pumpkin carving party? Oh my gosh, we have so much to catch up on. I'm trying to think of even where to begin. Let me think. Let's talk about this month's episode and when you're gonna get it. so I have to so every year, so far this is our second time, we have to send out like a gift to the top tier. And so I had to prepare that, and because we moved, I usually do a Halloween card, and that got turned into a Christmas card, which basically doubled up all of the things that I have to do for the month of December. And you have to deal with a bunch of people to like get everything, get the wheels in motion for everything. And so I spent half of November, the first half, designing all of that stuff and preparing everything for that. And then I was like, I'm going to do something simple for the month of November as far as a project goes. I was going to, very out of focus. Okay, let's see. Let's check. Very out of focus. Sometimes if you refresh is my only thought. Let's make sure we're in focus. Which, by the way, we're doing a craft along, and I have like a second camera up here so you guys can actually see. I wish I had done that with the pumpkin carving party because you're good. No, you're good. Everyone, okay. Sometimes if you refresh your thing, it'll fix it. What was I talking about? The November project. So I was like, I'm going to do something simple for the month of November, but like a craft that like people could genuinely benefit from. And I decided I'm going to make drapes. And all of my projects, every single one works like this. I told my mom on the phone, I was like, this is a 2-day project. I'm going to be able to do this in 2 days. Fast forward to 2.5 weeks later. it snowballed because the first thing I did wasn't fancy enough. It looked great, but it wasn't what you guys are paying for. So I was like, well, it has to be better. So that's what I did. I made it better. And so we are, as soon as the live stream's done, we're going to finish filming that episode. And then I have to edit it together. So you may be getting it like December, like 1st, possibly 2nd. I'm going to try to avoid that, but just so you know what's going on. But it's amazing. It's so good. When I did the house tour and I showed the curtains that were in the red drawing room, it's so much better than that. So they just came out amazing. And I have a pattern I'm creating for them, but I won't be able to, I think, actually get that together and publish it until probably like the first week of January. Maybe sooner, maybe later, I don't know. But basically, I've designed my own personal type of drapes, and I will be creating a pattern and giving them to, I think it's like the $7 and up tier. Let's see. December 1st is my great grandma's 102nd birthday. Happy birthday, great grandma. Oh my gosh, is she still alive? I mean, there's nothing wrong with celebrating if she's not, but it's just a good question to ask. Let's see. Anyway, long story short, you're gonna love these drapes. And as we know, like, cats like to get involved with sewing projects, so it's like cats galore in this episode. So that's gonna be really funny. And it turns out Archimedes is a total ham. He is working his way into every shot, and he's really, really cute and funny in it. Let's see. Yes, the grandfather clock. No, not yet. Ooh, let's tell that story. So I have clocks all over the place. It's one of those things, like lamps and clocks are things that I don't know if I'd say I collect them, but it's always something I'm drawn to, is like an interesting lamp or a really fun clock. So I think I mentioned there's a girl in the South who has like a clock repair company, and we're working out when that's going to happen, but she's going to come up and repair my grandfather clock, so it's running. I'm in the far back of the house right now, very far away from that. My mom collects lamps too. It's one of those things, I just don't think you can have too many lamps in a room, like bunches of interesting looking ones just all over the place. I love your gift wrapping. Well, let's talk about this. So I was like, I'll do a gift wrapping episode, and then I was like, I don't actually enjoy wrapping gifts. I like making bows and sticking stuff on them, but the actual process of like cutting the paper and doing all of that, I always tell people I'm terrible at wrapping gifts, but like the truth is I just don't enjoy doing it. So people have gotten gifts from me that are like wrapped in newspaper and all sorts of silly, funny things. But what we're going to be doing here is making bows, and I'm going to experiment with an idea that I've had. I have not tried to do it, so we're going to see how that works out as far as decorating a package goes. Let's talk about paper, ribbon, and my opinions on these things. So if you've seen the movie Clue, there is a moment where everybody is handed a gift, and there is like a wrench or a candlestick or a gun in one of them. And the way those packages looked were, it was like this matte black paper with a really glossy satin ribbon that was black as well. If it just easily, without any question, it is my number one favorite color combination on a gift. If all of the presents under the tree were wrapped just like this, I'd be very, very happy. That said, you can mix up the colors. I really, really like a matte, slightly lighter muted color with a darker, glossier ribbon. I just feel like it looks super, super elegant. So that's like my favorite sort of thing. And so anyway, what we're going to be doing is tying a really beautiful bow is like a process that requires, so you can do like an actual knot bow, which is super beautiful. I love those too. But if you want one of those just like Christmas card looking like cartoonishly beautiful bows, that's what we're going to be doing today. Do you guys have any questions before I start? Let me have a sip of my coffee and then I'll begin. Oh, someone said, I love plain brown paper with a pretty ribbon. I absolutely love that too. Just that like almost like cardboard looking color of paper. Can I move the mic closer? Absolutely. I hope you guys have been hearing me okay. Okay, that might be too loud now. We're gonna find out. Is that your pantry? So yes, kind of. So there used to be a wall here, and then this was just like a butler's pantry that you could go into. And I've put all of my crafting supplies and my sewing materials. We're in kind of the servant's den of the house, and it's where I live in the house. Like I spend so little time out in the fancy rooms of the house and almost all of my time in the servants' quarters, which is kind of appropriate because we're essentially the servants of this place. Where did you find the black paper? I think I got it at Michael's. You have to go like where did I go? They have like it's like a for teachers, like school teachers, and it's way longer than a normal thing of gift wrap, and it's meant for like poster board or something like that you could pin up on like a cork board, and it works really good for this. And ribbon, let's talk about ribbon. Don't go anywhere other than Joann Fabric. Joann Fabric is the place to go if you want like a really good variety of ribbon. Let's see. Bulletin paper. Someone said it. Yes, that's what it is. Is there a fan mail address we could send Christmas cards to? I've said this. So people have figured out the address and sent things, and I love that. It makes me so happy. But I don't have time to respond to stuff, and I feel like a heel if I can't get back to things. And so I don't ever give that out, but a quick Google search will tell you. That's terrible to say. The truth is, it was the same in the Mountain House. Like anyone with like a little bit of internet sleuthing can figure things out. Are you going to do a house tour of your Christmas decorations? So Christmas decorations, let me think about what is going on for that. Because so much has happened this year, leading like literally within the last 6 months, just so many things have been going on that I've been trying to like navigate and figure out. I don't know how crazy my Christmas decorations are going to be this year. Next year is another story. I might save that for what tops your Christmas tree. So I like making my own ornaments. I'm torn this year between how much time I have and if I want to do an episode where I like show how to like make your own Christmas ornaments, or making a life-size gingerbread man that looks like terrifying and scary. Not that flat gingerbread, but like old-fashioned, like thick, like a little, almost like a little stuffed gingerbread man kind of thing. I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. My tree is topped with a Christmas velociraptor. I love that. I like funny. I'm a big fan of elegant, really beautiful, regal looking trees. And then I also like silly, like fun, happy trees. Let's see. I would love to learn how to make my own ornaments. I'm going to have to do that. You're going to love these drapes. The cool thing about the drapes is, so this house has the advantage of really tall ceilings and really long windows, but like the truth is, the way these drapes are done, you don't necessarily need a super tall window because the top is very, like the valance is very like Gothic-y. And so it doesn't actually expose any of the window on the top. So you could actually build this valance like above your window if you wanted to create that long, narrow kind of look in a room. I'll explain that in that episode. We need a Christine doll. Make it happen. If somebody made a doll of me, I'd want it to look old. Like I found like this unbelievable. It's called Grannykins. Darcy Prevost, who was the set decorator on, or the set designer on the Netflix show, actually came and stayed the night last month or this month, and we went antique shopping together, and we found a Grannykins doll. It's from the 50s, I think, and it's an old lady doll that's dressed like Grace Kelly and is like super done up. It's really fun. I'm going to show it at some point. Let's see. I would love to learn how to make my own ornaments. Well, then let's do that. If you guys want to see that, that's really, it's fun. It's like a fun thing to do because you make them and then you get to stick them in a box and you get to keep them every single year. Victorian style Christmas ornaments. I love that. I feel like I have other things to tell you, and I'm trying to think of what they would be. I'm kind of a little bit frazzled this morning just because I was running around trying to like get everything prepared for this. And I guess we can start on ribbons and sort of we'll go from there. And if you guys have questions, throw them at me and I will try to answer them as we go. So the way I like to do a ribbon, and I'm gonna flip this. This is, I think, 1.5 inches, maybe 1 inch. No, that's probably 1.5 inches. Oh my gosh, I have a tape measure. It's 1.5 inches. Okay, so 1.5 inches ribbon on the package. And I like a wider something for the bow. Let's see. Are you a morning person or a night owl? I'm really kind of an all the time person. I don't sleep super late. And I go to sleep super late. So like on average, I don't know. It really depends on like if I'm working. Sometimes, you know, you keep working until 2 o'clock in the morning. And then sometimes I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. So not usually on the same days, but so neither is the answer. Or both, actually. Where is your gorgeous bracelet from? You can find them on eBay. It's a vintage. Oh my gosh. So I painted my nails right before. Let me show you. Right before doing this. And like it must have been still wet. So it came off of my wrist. Let me see. Oh, it's there. So hold on. I'm gonna like take off my bracelet because I want you guys to be able to like Google this if you want. So my grandmother collected costume jewelry. I don't think I own any actual fancy jewelry. It's all costume. And I just don't really feel like super expensive jewelry is worth it if you can get costume stuff that looks just as pretty. And it doesn't say the name. I figured it out somehow. I figured it out. And so I had like a pastel pink one for my grandmother. I'm just going to set that down right there. And I loved it so much. I went on eBay because it was my mom's and she was just lending it to me. There we go. So it was to me and I was like, well, I want this. And so I went on eBay. Etsy is also amazing for costume jewelry if you're looking for something specific. Okay, satin ribbon. That's my favorite. You can do, for some reason, I think it's called grosgrain, something like that. It's a really ridged ribbon. It's like an aesthetic thing. For me, I'm not a big fan of that style, but I do like a really glossy satin. And this is Not a good one. Let me get a better one. Sometimes they're like, it's not real satin, or it's kind of like cheap. And I don't like that. That's a good one. Some of these I got from Michaels, and some I got from Joann. And like I said, Joann fabric is better. Oh, okay. Grosgrain. Is that how you pronounce Grosgrain? Am I pronouncing that right? Probably not. Okay, so I think in one of the earlier live streams, I said something like, I don't like going to Joann Fabric. And someone messaged me and they were like, you shouldn't say that. Like, I love Joann Fabric. And I was like, oh, I felt bad. And I think, oh, grow gain. So anyway, I think I may have just had a couple, like maybe there was a couple Joann Fabrics that I went to where it was like the employees didn't like each other. The Joann Fabric out here, they're wonderful. It's like a totally different experience. So they all seem to be like friends with each other, and it's like, wait, the tone and the mood is totally happier. So maybe it's just dependent on the store that you go to and whether or not the employees like are friends with each other. So that's my experience, and I love the Joann Fabric out here. Let's see. Going to Joann is infuriating to me. Try a different store. Sometimes I think that's what it is. Everyone's nice. It's very, very nice here. I would say at every store I've gone to. And like I said, people were very nice in California, and people are just even nicer here. Will I be able to reuse the ribbon from this project? Absolutely. And that's the cool thing about doing this, is you can make this ribbon, stick it on a package. We're hot gluing it on a package, which is what I think is, it's so easy. It will stay until you remove it. And so let's say you do these ribbons for all of your Christmas packages. After Christmas, you just remove all of them and stick them in a box, and they're going to be good to go for next year. My mom used to work at a Joann Fabric, and they are not all the same. See, that makes sense. I really feel like management can make a difference. It's just a matter of like, do the employees all like each other? There's one, if I'm going to say anything, there is a Joann Fabric. It's the big Joann Fabric in Albany, which is because I had to go a whole bunch of different places. I've never in my life had a better Joann Fabric experience than that place. So if you are going to go to any store, what is your coffee cup? I went to the Adirondack Mountains, which are really close to this. And so I got an Adirondack coffee mug. I love coffee mugs from places that I've been to. Okay. Oh my gosh, let's talk about something, a comment I'm seeing. It is so hard watching your videos and being Brazilian because crafting things are so expensive in Brazil. Crafting things. So this is one of the big drawbacks about moving here and not being where I lived in California. You have a really limited number of craft places you can go here, as opposed to in where I lived in California. You could go to the garment district in LA, and stuff was so inexpensive, and you could get so many things like so reasonably priced. And the thing about like Joann or any of these craft stores is like they can be expensive compared to the prices you can get like at a place like a garment district. But I'm finding Amazon has like a ton of really, really reasonably priced like trims and ribbons and things like that. It's a drawback that you can't like touch it and see it in person, but it's just something to keep in mind. Things are more expensive in the north. Yes, I learned that the hard way with the drapery project. I'm going to talk about it in that episode, but it was a little I was left a little shook from it. Let's see. Okay, so how we do this ribbon, we're going to get, you need a thread that matches the ribbon, a needle, and I'm going to try to find one that's not too ginormous. That feels good. Greetings from Nina in Norway. Hello, Nina. Thrifting is another option, totally. Thrift stores, it's a little harder to find large amounts of things, like if you find one color that you really, really like. But at the same time, it is, if you're doing smaller projects, thrift stores are an awesome alternative. Okay. There we go. Does your new home have a name? It does. It's called Chesham Place. I guess that is the name that the original builder, the guy who had the house built, called it Chesham Place after his home. I don't know if it was the town or something that he lived in England. I could be getting that information wrong, but I don't think I am. And the reason I know that is there's things all over the house that say Chesham Place. And then Marianne Lee, who came to, she was married to one of the sons from the house. And she came and told me a whole bunch of amazing information. And she was so pretty and wonderful and nice. I need to like send her something for having gone to the trouble to come see me. What music are you listening to? I've been listening to tons of true crime books. So that's what I've been doing. Not as much music. And I've like found an amazing one if you guys want a recommendation. It's actually probably the best one I've ever read. But I don't remember names, so I have to look it up. Okay, so let's find, I have to go into my Audible app. The library. I think it's this one. It's called Evil Has a Name, and it's by Paul Holes, Jim Clementi, and Peter McDonald. I want to make sure that's the right one.
This is Audible.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyway, Evil Has a Name. It's about the Golden State Killer. So they have actual survivors doing audio work for their parts, and it's, oh my gosh, I was like crying happiness towards the end. It was so wonderful because they catch that bad guy. And it's so wonderful. It's just amazing. It's the best one I've ever read. There's a haunted asylum up near you? Where? I want to go there. Oh, someone said I have that one. It's the best one. Someone said I'll Be Gone in the Dark. I haven't listened to that one, so I need to. Someone said, you know Jim Clement. Tell him I said hi, and he's written the best audiobook I've ever read in my whole life. Let's see. How is your newest cat doing? He is so wonderful. He's a little jerk sometimes, but he's being mean to Werewolf today. But I love him. He's so sweet, and he's so like snuggly and cute, and I don't know. His only drawback is like he tends to like, well, he wants to play with Werewolf, my little black kitty, and she does not like being played with. So they get into little squabbles. All cats are jerks, but we love them. I sure do. I like people, but I have never met a person that I liked as much as I like cats. Let's see. How is your hair adjusted to the new climate? The humidity stopped, so now it's fine. But somebody like showed me this amazing technique of like spraying each section of your hair with hairspray and then doing a curling iron over that. and it kind of laminates your hair a little bit. Let's see. Someone says hello from Alaska. You're just waking up. Hello. Oh my gosh. We're going to start on this ribbon at some point. Okay. Is your mom coming over to celebrate Christmas? I so want her to, but this pandemic thing has us all like, I don't know. I don't really think travel's such an awesome idea, and I'm just really, really hoping everything goes better with that soon. It seems to be going in a good direction, which thank goodness. Okay. So I'm going to show how to do this ribbon finally. So I'm going to flip this over here, and so you can start with like whatever length that you want, but I like to actually build the bow first before I cut this end, just so I know. So basically you take the shiny side, that's going to be the face, and you flip this, and essentially what you want is that shape. See if you can. So you see a matte side and a matte side. I'm going to give myself just a little bit more. And you want to center that right there. And it should look about the same. And I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to do it one more time just to make sure everybody sees. So you just take the ribbon and you go like that. And you find a center where it looks like everything is right. You can add a little bit more if you want your bow a little bit wider. Okay. And I feel like that's looking good. So we're going to take our needle. And we're going to pierce that right there. And you're just kind of locking in where those little pieces meet. Okay. So then you end up with this. And I'm going to cut this one because it's just like flopping around for no reason. Okay. So that is the shape you have now. Okay. Now, I'm talking like this because I have a needle in my mouth. But you take this and you go, you can start down here and you just skip every little bit. And wherever that comes out here is where your center is going to be, so you want to make sure. So you see how that's looking? And hopefully it's looking good at this point. And this is kind of a nice moment that if you haven't gotten it perfectly centered, you still have a second to adjust it around. So then you take that and go like that. I just wrap it straight above, and then I just shoot it straight through all of that gathering. One more little thing. And then what I do is I just throw this around here a few times. Okay, we're not done, but we are getting to where we want to go with this. Okay. So now we're gonna pierce that needle so it's coming out the back. And now what you want to do is we are going to take, throw back. You want like a slightly thinner ribbon. Same kind of material though is really good. I'm going to go back here. Okay. You can just take a snippet. You don't need a ton. And you can fold it over like in thirds so that you end up, let's see if I can. So you just take it, you just fold it into thirds. And you're gonna just hand stitch that little guy. Onto the back. The back looks a little bit messy on this, but not too bad. But no one's really going to see the back, so it doesn't really matter all that much. Okay. So now you've got that little nugget, and you're just going to wrap that around underneath. And it doesn't need to be too snug. It kind of looks good if you give like a little bit of space. And once you've got it sitting just where you want it, you go in the back. And you just stitch that all together. And then in the front, it should be looking super duper pretty and nice. Oh, someone's saying all I have is wired ribbon. I think wired ribbon could cause some issues with this. Or it just might take a little bit more like finagling to get it to lay just the way you want it to. Okay. And then once you've got that just how you want it, just tie that off. Okay. Are we doing good? Are you guys liking this so far? The nice thing is, you know, these episodes don't go away. They'll always be available. So if you ever, and this one's titled Bow Making. So if you're not doing it right this second, but you want to come back to it, you can. And we're not quite finished with this. So. Oh, someone's saying you can pull the wire out of the wired ribbon if you want. Okay. So I'm going to flip this back. So now you want a lighter. And wherever you want this to fall, you can just fold your ribbon over. And you just cut at an angle. Okay, that's looking good. Okay. Then you take a lighter. I'm hoping this one works. And you just ever so carefully run that over that edge, and that basically locks that in so it doesn't thread out on you. Perfect. Okay. How are we feeling about that? So that's like a really, how long did that take me? And I'm talking the whole time. If you're just like trying to do these, like punching them out one after the other, doesn't take a ton of time. Like listen to a book, do something fun. And then now you have this really beautiful, perfect looking ribbon that you can stick on a package. You've made it yourself. So you get like the pride of doing that. And then you can just plop that on a package. And I just feel like a glossy satin ribbon like this just makes things look so beautiful. So that's gonna be where that goes. But before we do that, we're gonna do something else to this box. I hope you guys aren't in a hurry because this next part's gonna take me a second, I think. It's just a little bit of something that makes the ribbon is what I'm talking about, the bow. There is something about getting a present that somebody like put a bunch of thought into like making sure it looked beautiful. It's almost like it's always better than whatever is in the present. So I love making things just a little bit special. It does also mean that you have to limit how many people you're giving presents to if you're going to do that to everybody. Okay, so I'm going to put my ribbons and bows and things like that away. Which, by the way, let's talk about, I'm going to just endlessly talk about like the differences from moving here. When everybody warned me, you're going to get so depressed once all the leaves come off the trees. It's going to be so sad. So I've heard a ton of people talk about that. And I was driving to Albany the other day, and I was going, so it's like an hour drive from here. And the sky was like lumpy and gray, and everything on the ground was like brown and dead. And it was so beautiful. I just think it's so pretty and magical and eerie and dark and creepy looking. Whereas opposed to like California, it's like there isn't such a dramatic seasonal change in California. So you go from it looking, they do get a winter where the leaves fall off a good portion of the trees and things look kind of brown with little pops of like palm tree sort of things. So to me, I would equate it to like, you know, like in the spring or summer, California can look like Miss America. And then in fall, it still looks like Miss America, but like maybe somebody backed over her and like cut off her fingers or something. Like it just doesn't look the best she can. But here, it's just like everything's dead and it just looks so incredibly neat and like something like from a Tim Burton movie or something. Yes, you can see like it's a real, like it is no longer like spring, summer here. It looks like a totally different place. And there's so many trees and so many branches that it doesn't look sparse. I think that's the word. It just looks like you can't see through anything. It's super dense still. Hello from Melbourne, Australia. What time is it in Australia right now? That's when I didn't look up. Christine needs to write a travel brochure for New York. Everything is dead. It's really pretty. I think it's neat looking. The opening shot from Addams Family Values, that's exactly what it looks like, and it is spectacular. Okay, so how am I going to do this next part? I've never done this. we're going to see how it works out. Maybe it'll look awesome. Maybe it will look silly. And, you know, I don't know. I knew the bow was going to work out because I've done that enough times. So we're getting paint. Okay. I bought this paint online. I've never tried it. I don't even think I'm using it right now, but it's BLK 3.0 Stuart Simple, and it's supposed to be like the inkiest black paint ever. Like, I think it's an acrylic paint. I'm not sure. Okay. I don't know if I'm going to use that. So I've got a pencil. This is the face of my package. And what I'm going to do, I hope this works, is draw like a jack-o'-lantern eye on either side of this. So let's see, I'm going to flip this. This is the best part of having two cameras. I hope that looks right. Now let's see if we can erase from this, because I'm not sure we can. Okay, so now that we kind of have, I don't know if you guys can see that very well, but it's kind of a pair of eyes. Like I said, I've never done this before. We're gonna see if it looks okay. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna mix some colors. Basically what I want is a gradient of a light, shades of orange like a jack-o'-lantern. And you could do this in green. Shades of green would look really, really awesome. Should I do this in green? I'm thinking, do I want to do green? I'm going to do green. I don't know why. Okay. I was like, I know I have brushes somewhere right around here. Okay. So let's see. Oh my gosh, I forgot paper towels. Maybe my captive will get me paper towels. Green matches your plants, my very fake plants. I accidentally added orange and or red, and I shouldn't have done that. Hey, thank you. What is that device you use to transition? It is called a Roland Multi-Format Video Mixer V-02HD. I don't know. That's just what it says. Okay, let's try that again without any red. Anytime you mix red, brown, and yellow together, you get brown. Wait, blue, red, and yellow. I'm not running on all cylinders right now. Okay, that's better. I was ending up with like a very kind of like a dead green color. I lost a paintbrush. And so I don't know if you can see that I'm creating like a gradating shades of green. Or I'm trying to. It's not quite as green as I was hoping it was going to be. It kind of depends on like what kinds of paints you're using. Some give like really bright, vivid colors, and then some don't. Okay, let's find out how this works. I'm going to just toss that right there. You guys having fun? I'm like excited how this is working out. I hope it looks the way I envisioned it. Let's check something. Okay. If you guys have questions, throw them at me and I'll see if I can't answer them while I do this. How are the pets enjoying the new house? They seem to like it a ton. And there's bats all over the place. It's like, I don't know. They're up in the attic. And I was just telling my captive last night, like if it wasn't for rabies, I would be like putting bat food up there. But I'm afraid of getting rabies or like one of, I don't know, all the animals are vaccinated. I don't know why there isn't like a people vaccine for rabies. Maybe there is. I don't know. But if rabies wasn't a concern, I would be like putting like little birthday cakes up there for the bats. Are you doing a dressmaking tutorial? I so desperately want to make that dress form and then start doing dresses. It is happening. I don't know when I'm getting to it, but I am getting to it within this coming year. It will happen. There is a people vaccine for rabies? Really? Wait, is that the one that you had, like, if you get bit, you have to go get the shot? I would prefer to just, like, get the shot and then just go play with the bats. I don't know if that's something you can do. Oh, there is a vaccine, but it just buys you time to get to nearby services. That doesn't really work for me. Okay, so let's flip this over here. And I'm not sure if this brush is, I think you need a kind of fine brush for what I'm going to do. And I'm going to start with something in between on these because I want the bottoms of the eyes to be a little bit darker, and then I want it to graduate to a lighter shade up at the top. And then we're going to go lighter. We're going to go back in afterward and like punch up the depth. It's starting to see. I think we're going to have to do the other eye. Someone says, does anyone use the episodes to fall asleep? I watch The Golden Girls every night before I go to sleep. It's like the show that like makes me feel like my grandma's there and like everything is happy and safe and wonderful. So the idea of anybody like using any of this stuff for that purpose like makes me insanely happy. What's in the box? Styrofoam. I, I was like, I want something like easy to work on. So it's styrofoam. I'm sorry. In fact, when I was like drawing with a pencil, like I could feel like the ridges of the styrofoam underneath. Let's see. It's feeling. That's kind of cool. I'm liking the way that's looking. Do you knit or crochet at all? Um, no. Well, actually, I can crochet. I know how to crochet. Um, the idea of actually making like an entire outfit, um, or like a garment or something like that causes me immense anxiety because I it takes a long time and it requires like I'm pretty good at like doing like tedious stuff, but for some reason that just like it's too much time. Are you going to do the monthly polls to give away gifts again? Yes. Um, I've been toying with the idea of doing that for the month of December, and I think I'm going to. Um, but yes, we are going to be starting that up again. Okay, and now I'm just going in with like a pure white at the highest points. Switch that over. I always have to like look at it on there and see like, is that looking right? Okay, so if this had come out exactly how I wanted it to, the green would have been like a touch more vivid. Um, that said, I'm not exactly, I do like the way it's looking. Okay, so I'm pretty jazzed about that. Maybe like a little bit more white right there. Okay, so now that we've got that, okay, I'm going to set this aside down there, try to get these out of the way. And we're going to take our really pretty bow. I'm like, I don't want to block the eyes that I just made. Oh no, am I going to? Okay, well, like I said, I've never done this before. Okay, so I'm going to take the backside that we... Ooh, clock is going. Just put a little down. You really don't need a ton, and it will hold. If you've ever burned yourself with a hot glue gun, you know to be very, very careful around them. I'm just like affixing this here. What about sideways? You could do it sideways. Okay, we're gonna see what this looks like. I'm not sure. It kind of looks like an angry walrus with like a mustache, like a bow mustache. Oh my gosh, what's that Pirates of the Caribbean looking guy with like the octopus tentacles coming off of his nose? So it kind of looks like a little monster present. Like he's gonna be like, he just needs like spider legs so he can like waddle over to you. It would actually be like a really cute like Pixar like monster movie if like the presents woke up at night. And I like how if you shake it, it kind of looks like, if I can't do voices, I would do like a cute little like angry voice. But he's kind of, I like that he's sort of like looking off to the side. And if you were to do this on like a bunch of different presents with like the iris kind of pointed in different directions, you could put all the presents so that they were all kind of looking at something. Okay. It looks like he tied his mouth closed. I like that. And I was thinking of doing a mouth here, but now I'm just like, that bow kind of... I'm trying to think of like, what's the best angle for him? Sometimes when you make things, like they have like a really good angle, and that's the side that you always like take a photo of. I don't know. So, like I said, some projects are going to be like silly. The bow thing, I'm telling you right now, that is a helpful tutorial to have. Okay. Yay! All right. Do you guys have any questions before we we wrap this up? Let me have another sip of my coffee. That is one angry looking present. You think the mic just picked up something ghostly? Should we tell a ghost story? I feel like maybe it was just the internet was why I couldn't keep talking about stuff. So let's find out if the internet stays intact while I tell this story. I told the story about the cat that that I saw, like a just for like the blink of an eye, I saw it. And I was up in the same room. It's like basically like it's my bedroom. I don't sleep in there, but it's like where all of my things are. And I was getting changed near the bed, and I look out of the corner of my, not even the corner of my eye. It was literally just like my eyes like scanned, and I thought it was werewolf. She was like, it was like the back of the cat with their tail kind of curled up, and it was just turning, kind of sniffing around like curiously. And just for that second, I was like, oh, she must have gotten out of, because we keep them sequestered on the, I don't know, east-west here, but on one side of the house. And we don't let them into the other part of the house because that's where all the super fancy stuff is that they could mar or do something to. And I was like, oh, she must have got out. So I finished changing, and then I got down on the ground to like see if she'd gone under the bed so I could pull her out and like take her back, and there was nothing there. And I looked all over the room, and I went and found Grant. I was like, where's Werewolf? She's out in the house. And he went and found her, and she was sleeping in her section of the house that's locked. And so it wasn't Werewolf, and it wasn't any other cat. So that happened. And then he was like, I felt like something was watching me earlier today. And he's like, sometimes you'll just have this moment where it feels intensely like something's looking at you. And I have that too here. It doesn't happen a lot. It's not like pots are flying around or anything like that. There's just something going on here. So I don't know. No one else who's ever lived here, everyone who's lived here, everyone who's stayed here has talked about like interesting, weird experiences that they've had. I've never heard anybody talk about seeing a cat. So maybe it's because I'm a cat lady that I would see one, but oh my God, I knew there was other stuff to talk about. So I mentioned that the drawers are filled with things. One of the drawers had all of these negative glass plate photos of the original family that lived here. They must have been shot somewhere around like 1895 would be my guess. And I scanned like a bunch of them, and it's pictures of the family here in this house. A lot of them are out on the property, some are in the solarium, and there are dogs everywhere. So before Thomas Richardson, the father, like the guy who like commissioned the building of the house and moved his family here, before he died in 1900, they were a dog family, and I'm assuming that's because he was a dog person. And the minute he kicked the bucket, suddenly cats showed up everywhere, and there is not a single dog shown in the house after he died, and then it's all cats. So basically, as soon as all the women took over the house, it was like cat city in here, which is how I like it. But anyway, it's so neat to look at these photos, and I'll have, if you guys want, I will, because I tried scanning them. It's not a good representation of the pictures because of the way the light works. So I have to actually photograph these glass plate photos. But I will upload, I'll do that. I'll upload them, and you guys can see all of these amazing photos. And some of them are very revealing as far as like where there's radiators, there aren't. You kind of get an idea of like how the house was decorated. So it's amazingly cool, and I don't think anyone has seen these photos before because they've just been sitting as glass plate negatives in a drawer, which I think is the coolest thing ever. Oh, Johnstown Flood. I didn't know anything about it. It's an audiobook. It's just something to look into. I didn't even know this happened. But there was in Pennsylvania, it's like 5 hours from here. There was a horrendous flood that like killed like I think it was like 2,500 people because of a dam that gave way. And I didn't know this whole story. It happened in like the 1890s, 1880s, something like that. It should be a movie. There's no movie about it. I don't know why. It's so incredible. I want to watch a movie about it. But if you want to read a cool, interesting story, Johnstown Flood. Let's see. 1889. Somebody knows. Darcy told me about it. Darcy actually showed up when she came. She was like, because she loves audiobooks, and she's the one who told me about Evil Has a Name and like also the Johnstown Flood. So I need to give her credit for that. Let's see. Are you settled into your new house yet? We're still working on it. I mean, it's just going to be one of those things. It's going to be years before like everything is like I'm at that comfort level that I had at set up at the California house, but we're getting there. And I love it here so much. It's so exciting. So we're having a really good time. Are you going to do some changes to the bathrooms? Yes, we had a quote done for having a new bathroom put in, but like the lead time was like a year away before they could come do that. And I was like, I don't know if I don't know. So we're working on it. I would like to have that done. the antique bathroom, I need to find a plumber locally that knows antique stuff and can get it up and running again because we don't actually use it. And that's a bathroom I won't actually do anything to other than just making it like functional. How do you decorate for Christmas with cats? Tie your tree down. Like, anchor your tree to something. My gosh, I wish somebody had told me this before I had a big, beautiful tree fall over because of Mr. Bickles. Um, you want you want to fix your tree and then take some fishing line and a hook in a wall behind it and like, yes, that's how you cat proof your tree. Yes, that's right. Have you started on the kitchen? So the kitchen is like such a huge thing and I have it locked in my head of how it's going to look. So it's going to probably be like a year or two before the kitchen is what it's going to be. And I'm just, there's so many things to tackle. I'm not sure that's the first thing I'm tackling. Can you make this kind of bow with more loops? I think so. I think almost if you double, yes, you can. I'm not sure about that. You could fiddle. I'm sure you probably could. Let's see. What are you doing later today? I'm actually insanely excited about what I'm doing later today. So I said I did all these drapes. I actually get to hang all of the, as soon as this wraps up, I'm changing into comfortable clothes. I'm going to hang up all of the drapes that I've made, stage the whole area, which I just love doing so much because I went to antique shops and like found cool treasures. So I'm going to stage all of that stuff, film like the intro, outro, and all the talking stuff in between. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm so excited about it. Then Monday, I'm going to start editing it all together, and it's going to be it's a really good episode, so I don't want to rush the editing just to get it out within the month of November. So I'm going to take the time that it needs to. It's possible that it's going to come out either on Tuesday or Wednesday this week, and it's going to be worth the wait, I promise you. So, will you show hand painted wallpaper? 1,000 times yes, absolutely. It's gonna, I think I'm gonna start with a smaller room because I've never in my life hand painted wallpaper in a gigantic room like there are in this house. So I think I need to start in a smaller room that I know how long that's gonna take. And then I'll start branching off. But that will be, so dress forms, dressmaking, wallpaper. I'm going to peel off that wallpaper. I'm going to do hand painted wallpaper, all coming this year. So there is, and then I'm going to make my own coffin here at some point. So I have not forgotten about that project. There's so many to get to. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I hope, what should we call him? I feel like he needs a name. Maybe that will be a contest. I'm not sure. He looks grumpy, so he needs a grumpy, like curmudgeon kind of name. So let's think about that. I hope you guys liked this. If the eyeballs aren't for you, the bow should be. So that's something to take with you into the future. Enjoy yourselves. I will see you in just a few days when this episode is done, and I hope you love it as much as I'm thrilled with how it was coming out. So take care of yourselves, and I'll see you very, very soon.